Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all viewers around the world. Welcome to the Author Lifestyle and Book Talk Show by Eye Opener Productions. Today on the show, I have here with me a popular poet from Asia, Mr. Shiju H. Pallithazheth of Motivational Strips. Shiju H. Pallithazheth, based in Sultanate of Oman, is the popular author of two best-selling books, Katashi Tales and The Ghost Wisdom. His debut young adult fiction, Tashi Tales, won the gold medal in the children's fiction, bronze in overall category in E-Connections Magazine Reader's Choice Awards 2019. His book had won this award contesting amidst millions of books published worldwide in 2019. This book has been popular with readers and writers, having been sold in all continents of the world. Katashi Tales has been crowned with 5-star ratings by readers Reads, Kobo, Amazon.com, Amazon.au, and Amazon.in. Shiju is the founder of Motivational Strips, world's most active writers forum on Facebook. It has monthly impressions crossing 7 million visitors. Writers from more than 197 countries interact on its social media page. The forum is seen by worldwide writers as a center of literary authority and learning center for literature. Many Nobel nominees, literary chairholders, wiki-listed authors, and qualitative writers interact on the page to inspire and coach co-writers. Shiju additionally handles presidential role in literary entity World Nations Writers Union and global advisor to LLSF and SIPA1, national property of Government of Seychelles. He is a recipient of Accolade of Honor from Gujarat Sahitya Academy, Government of Gujarat, India, and many claimed honors from global government institutions. He is reference advisor for many global government literary institutions. Shiju is respected by many worldwide writers as their mentor, motivational speaker, and writer's coach. He has been honored and awarded many times in literary circles. He has written hundreds of quotes and many articles for writers. His love for humor and humility around won him global acceptance and many laurels for his humanitarian inclination. His all-time favorite quote is as below. During childhood, my friends were playing with toys and I was playing with tiny alphabet blocks. They grew up as architects, pilots, engineers, doctors, and lawyers. I became a writer. It is my joy to have the great founder of Motivational Strips on the Author Lifestyle and Book Talk Show. Welcome, dear Mr. Shiju H. Pallithazheth.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Leaving, first and foremost, I am really grateful to Eye Opener Productions, which is definitely doing a great job by trying to accumulate quality writers across the globe and relay it back to the literary world so that people get a different kind of you can call it a literary menu, because everybody has their own concepts and ways and means of talks, and not every writers are good speakers, but some writers are great speakers. So if you ask me generally about if you want to put a summation of what I am, I would rather say I don't know, because I'm still learning. Because I've always felt that more than all these designations which you explained, being the founder, president of Motivational Strips, the president of World Nation Writers Union, having won so many accolades, to be very honest, I accept these accolades because it's an honor. It's a gesture of camaraderie. It's a gesture of affection. And it's a kind of a gesture of acceptance among a quality crowd. So I accept them. But I do not keep peeping at them. If I keep looking at them, then the whole wide road of opportunities lie ahead of me. I would still be watching those awards and accolades.
Yes.
So I still personally feel that every human being around us, I'm not talking on a humanitarian side now, I'm talking on a practical side now. Every human being around us has a story to tell. And a lifetime or multiple lifetime is not enough to explore that and understand that. So we all know that we have a very short life because time flies. That's how it is said. So within the short duration, ideally a writer, what he should do, more than concentrating on the accolades, awards, and all kinds of honors and praises what we get, the main concentration should be, if today I am this, how can I be better? So that question is an unanswered question till we touch the grave, and then people still remember us for what we have done. Even today, attending this talk show with you, Elizabeth, is a new direction for me. Because normally speaking, I get a lot of people asking for forwards. I know some of the people who are watching this, they get a huge delay in getting back forwards. The reason why I'm not always, it's not that I don't want to. I want to attend talk shows. I want to write forwards for others. I want to inspire, but I'm like a juggler, with those kinds of different colors of balls. So one side forum is there, another side I have to do my own writing, then another side I have to give some reviews, and other side I have to read. And apart from that, I have a very busy professional life,
Yeah.
which of course, as long as the money comes in, all these passions can be entertained. But if our base, which is money, doesn't come in, all these passions, even though we have our innate desire to pursue them, but when the foundation is crushed, there is no
Yeah.
construction about that. So, from this, one thing you would have understood is that as a human being, I still prefer to be not above anybody and not below anybody. I would like to stand at par with all of you because every of you have something to teach me. And that way, I don't want to say the common saying that I'm a student of life. No. That way, I would rather say I'm a curious child. The best thing about being a child is, and the worst thing about being an adult is, child is always curious. But once we grow up, our tendency of asking questions, our tendency of facing people, that goes down. We
Mhm.
start to get shy. We feel discomfortable to be in a crowd. We feel discomfortable to run amidst a discussion. But if you look at a child, why the child learns faster than an adult? Because that is because the child doesn't have any fear. He doesn't have any misconception in his mind or her mind.
That's
The
true.
child is innocent. The child can run anywhere, learn anything what he or she wants. So I still feel that I'm very young at heart. Here, I don't know whether we have, anyway, we have quite some time. So there was a small child. I'll tell you the story. It's a very small, teeny weeny story which has inspired me throughout life. There was a small child who was a menace, who was a pain for everybody in that village. That boy, little boy, was a pain for everybody. You know why he was very painful for others? That boy kept on asking all kinds of funny questions. Everything around him is something of doubt to him. He will ask why the tree leaves are green, why the tree some trees are growing taller, why some are shorter. Then he will go and ask, like, why is the color of the mud brown, why can't it be yellow, and why the sky is blue. So people used to get shocked, and they used to run away when they see this child coming.
Yes.
So one day when this child was walking along, he saw a small, the goose, the goose. It's a duck origin, right? The goose sitting on an egg. So the boy goes to near the goose and then, pulls up its tail and sees what is inside. So he finds the egg inside. Immediately, the next moment, he runs back to his house and, he goes to his mom and asks him, like, Mom, why is that goose sitting on that egg? Won't it break? Then mom laughs and says, "Oh my God! Again with your funny questions. Why should it break? I mean, that's the process. That's how it goes. It's very soft. So even if the goose sits on the egg, it knows how to protect it." Then the next question by the child was, why is that goose sitting on that egg? What is the purpose of it? To hatch. A chicken will hatch out of that egg. So the goose sits on that to give it warmth. Then the little boy says, Mom, the goose is so small, and it sits over there. It's so small, and it will take a lot of time for that egg to hatch. Yeah, it's like that. So the next day, the boy goes near the duck, near the goose, and what he does, he will pull out the goose, and the boy sits above the egg, and splash, the egg breaks. The egg breaks, all the eggs break, and then the boy runs back to his mom and starts crying and say, Mom, I did a big blunder. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say. I sat on the eggs, Mom, it broke. Then the mom asks, why did you go and sit on the eggs? So the little boy says, Mom, I wanted to help that goose because, my size and the goose size, I am huge and the goose is so small. So if the goose sits on the egg, it will take, long time for the eggs to hatch because its body warmth is very little. So I sat on the egg so that the eggs, hatch faster. And mom starts laughing and says, there is a process for doing all this. And you cannot give more heat than what is required. So every bird or any animal which sits on the egg, it has its own time of hatching. Now, Elizabeth, can you guess who was that boy?
Were you the boy?
I was expecting this. This is something which I always talk when I do a seminar or anything such. It was not me. A few minutes before, we spoke about electricity, right?
Yes.
You need to have light if your house has to be bright.
Yes.
I think there was a power shot down or something in your area, but now you're looking bright with those light, correct?
Yes.
That light was invented by this boy, and he was the father of 1,000+ invention. And that boy's name was Thomas Alva Edison.
Wow.
Now, people used to see that boy as a pain. Everybody used to run away from him with his questions. But if you don't ask questions like that boy, how do you get answers? So that's why I said, I am a curious child. So with this, we begin into your interview and you can shoot whatever you want to know more about me.
Wow, that is brilliant. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction and that very inspirational story, Mr. Shiju. Well, let's get started on your interview. I have been a member of Motivational Strips since 2020, and I would like to know something. What was the drive behind establishing Motivational Strips? And most importantly, have you been able to achieve all your goals for the group since it was founded?
Okay. First and foremost, most important thing what you should know, and I mean all your audience should know, is why did the name Motivational Strips come? It has two words in that. One is the word motivational, and another is the word called strips. We put those small strips to remember things at home. Sometimes you stick those strips.
Yeah.
You have to do this, you have to do that. And those strips will have the things that you are supposed to do. And if those things, what you are doing, if it is motivational, that can help many people. So the name Motivational Strips came because every family member in Motivational Strip is those so small strips. Their accumulation can give a larger picture to the world, especially when it comes on a literary perspective. Now, if you ask me what is the reason that Motivational Strips started and why you have become successful, actually, it is not me who has become successful. It is the family members who make up all. It does not belong to anyone. It belongs to everyone. I just keep its outline clean and clear and qualitative so that no manipulation or no elements which can cause harm to literature enters over there. So it's a very clean place. But if I keep it clean, it will not be clean. So here in this juncture, I would like to thank those thousands of multiples of people who makes sure that no wrong elements get into motivational strips. If you ask me the family members in motivational strips, you will find writers plenty, but you cannot call all of them as authentic writers. Some are assumed writers who are claiming to be writers, but people who are actual writers, their pen is always busy. Motivational strips is a place where you can always keep your pen busy. You can amuse one another. You can learn from one another, and nobody is criticized there in motivational strips. Therefore, Google listed it as the world's most active writers forum because no forums will have that kind of traffic and that enthusiasm in writing, and that also from 197 countries. We don't keep barriers like boundaries, no religion, no creed, no differentiation of color. The only color we know is red because the color of blood of everybody is red. And these are strictly followed by the administration members who are from different continents of the world. So anything what we have to do, anything we do, we make sure that we do not leave any side of the world untouched. And we have to be fair with everybody. Now, again and again, I repeat the word we. So who is this we? Who is
You,
this we?
you and me, we the poets and writers around the world.
Exactly. So motivational strips is a concept, a revolutionary concept where non-authentic is kept aside and passion for writing is moved aside. So that's how it is.
I
Now,
love your
if you ask
answer.
me more, so if you ask me what prompted me to create motivational strips, there was a simple story. I mean, there is a very simple story. We all either come in social media with our real name or we come in our pseudonym. We don't keep our real name. We
Yeah.
keep Little Flower, Great Flower, the
Yes.
Great Mountain, Literary Brain, or something like that.
Yes.
For 3 years, I was in social media under the name of PS. I never revealed my name. I never revealed my face. I never revealed my picture. The reason is social media can be used for good purpose. Social media can be used for bad purpose. I wanted to understand and learn the literary procedure where social media is used as a medium. So I had joined in a very interesting group, not a group, it's a big group. It had around, at that time itself, 300,000 members were there. And the way they used to behave with one another, there is one part of trolls in one side, and there is other part of people who are talented, but they are not able to come forward to write because anything what they write is being criticized. So either they stay for a month and run away, or they stay and fight with these trolls. So I felt that there are many talents across the globe, and at the same time, there are various chains on these talents. Some people do not like people to come forward with the talents they have, fearing of failure from their side. And there are people who fight and struggle and come through this challenging phase to, establish themselves. But there are some people who think that why should he be getting so much popular in his writings? He should face or she should face the challenging phase. If he or she faces a challenging phase, then only he or she will become a good writer. A teenager like you, Elizabeth, if you go over there, they wouldn't want to see you writing as good as the seniors over there. So I was learning it for 3 years. That is the time I had handled almost 64 trolls in one night, 8 hours. I was giving back answers to whatever they were saying, because I was not in my real identity. And then I challenged at that time that with this, I will be quitting this forum and I will start a forum which will give an extended hand to people. It will not be me giving that extended hand. It will be the people giving hand to one another. to make sure that everybody comes out as top writers and understand the pinnacle of their potentials. So that was the formation of Motivational Strips. And the founding of this name is every people are strips of wisdom. When it gets into a family, it becomes a global explosion of wisdom. And when world learns to be uniting and getting along like this to share wisdom to one another, 50% of the problems faced by the world is handled. And trust me, if writers are together, they can bring a change to the world at the fastest way, at least in terms of attitude and mutual writing. So that's how it came.
Your group is one of the most active on the literary
Again, I repeat, it is not my group. I am also a
Okay.
member just like you or others. I
Okay.
just
Okay.
founded as we spoke about the story of the goose who laid the egg.
Yeah.
Maybe I was the person who laid the seed, but the growth is all of you.
All right. All right. Thank you for that correction. So let's say motivation. Our group, our group in quotes, is one of the most active on the online literary scene, and I really appreciate that backstory. I think it's something that most people would like to know. I don't think everybody knows that backstory. So the audience and our members on Motivational Strips would be glad to know the story. Mr. Shiju, please can you tell us how you began your literary journey?
You mean how I started my literary journey?
Yes.
I never knew I was a writer. See, what happened is like I'll tell you. If you
Same
ask
here.
me, I had always been a writer, but I never knew that I was a writer, but I had always been a writer. You know, when you see, when you look at and differentiate the small little kids, some might be good at dancing at a very young age,
Yes.
some might be good at painting, some will keep looking at things and keep on drawing on the walls, spoiling all the walls in the house. Some likes to play with kitchen sets. They like to cook with those small teeny weeny toys.
Yes.
Some like to be doctors. So now I'll take you back to the quote, which
Yes.
one of my favorite quote. So my habit from those days itself was like, I will look at an apple, then I will look at the alphabet, how it is shaped, because I didn't know the alphabet. I'm a tiny, teeny weeny toddler. So I will see, okay, it looks like this, it looks A, and then it looks like B. And then then I learned through the word art rather than the alphabet. So as I grew, I used to keep on asking my dad and mom to buy me blocks. Whereas my elder brother and younger brother, they want to play small. In those time we didn't have video games and all. We had a small gadget called watch and game. So it has a watch, it has a digital watch, and it has a game in that. I'm sure, I don't know, maybe you would have seen it. Those are teeny weeny game gadgets. So they used to play with all that. My friends used to play with aeroplanes. Some of them with construction. They use Lego blocks. But I was into those small teeny weeny alphabet blocks. So I used to make teeny weeny words, and then after that I started connecting the words. Then I used to show my parents, see, I've written apple, see, I've written cat. It's just like anybody of you. But I was doing it more on a practical front rather than writing it down. Then I started reading a lot. I was a voracious reader. Today, if you ask me, I'm not a voracious reader because time constraints are there. I read from the forum. So most of what I read is today poetry. But if you ask me in those days, I was a crazy reader. Anything you put in front of me, whether it's a newspaper article or in those days, some of the groceries used to be wrapped in newspaper. They used to make covers with newspapers. In those days, I'm telling about 3 decades ago, 3 to 4 decades ago. So even though what is written in that, I used to read. I used to be a curious reader. So then I started feeling that there are some words which has very meaningful ending and starting. There is a commencement part of it. There is a central body and there is an ending. So I started writing small quotes. The sky is blue. It will look more clear if we are true. I started rhyming with those words. And then I wrote thousands and thousands of quotes. I still have them in social media in the name of PS. Then I started understanding that if I can write so many quotes, why do not I try making an article by joining those quotes together? Then I started making articles, and then from articles after articles, then I started giving, a coaching kind of articles to people, how to write, what to be inspired with, how to observe around. I started becoming a big philosopher. I was talking beyond my age. And the best friends all around me was above 60 years, and I was standing there as a 30, half their age. Because I felt it very shy to mingle with youngsters. I felt it more comfortable with the elders. So my friends used to say, "What are you doing roaming around with these grandpas?" I said, "Come on, yeah, you are not my league. I mean, I get more of wisdom from them." So I,
Wow.
I swear, Elizabeth, my friends were all double my age. They would be my father's age. And we used to, "Hey, buddy, hey, dude." And, they used to boast around and say, "My God, Shiju is," then some people, when they come and say, "What you're doing with the youngster?" The old people to old people communication. Then they used to, "What youngster? He will talk beyond your age. He's more mature than you." So it's like, I wanted to get more at a faster pace. And that's how I became a writer. Then I started noting down whatever I'm observing around. I have been extensively traveling. I've traveled to 57 countries so far. I've covered
Wow.
almost all of Europe. I've traveled over the Far East. I've been to China side. I've been to Africa, Algeria, to Morocco, then Egypt. Then in your continent also I've traveled, but coincidentally I've not been to Nigeria. Maybe someday we'll all catch up there. Then I've been to most of Europe, and then I've been to the Scandinavian side. So, so every country has different behavioral patterns. But at the end of the day, every country is wanting to be together. This I understood. Then I understood the relevance of unity in literature. So I started again back to those Thomas Alva Edison days. I started to become a curious kid. And even today, as on today, I'm a curious kid. You will not believe it, Elizabeth. When you came and approached me, the first thing what I did is, who is this Elizabeth? Let me go and look at how old is she. And I was terribly impressed when I knew that you were so young. And because that is one reason I immediately agreed to this talk show.
Thank you
Because
so
I
much.
know you reminded me of my youth. At such a young age, you want to accumulate more of knowledge from others. And this exactly prompted me to today sit with you face to face or side by side. I don't know how this video is going to come. If it is face to face, it will be, face to face or side by side.
It's side by side.
And so I am always open to supporting anybody who has that passion, that thing. We call it the thing inside to learn more. And the same thing, I have that thing to learn from all of you too. It's a give and take, which doesn't cost any money. It costs only smiles, respect, and interactions. So all this put together, the summation is, one of my known colleague, she said, seeing all my whatever I'm writing, she understood that I have a lot of content with me. I have a lot of content with me. Where do I get the content? Traveling, interacting, understanding people. And of course, I was from a sales background. So you can imagine the number of kind of people I would have interacted with. Everybody has their own behavior. Some are very arrogant, some are full time, they like jokes, some are very, very, very sober, some look like a sadist, some are depressed. So I have to interact and change my facial expression according to the audience I am sitting with. Characterization. Characterization in literature. So one of my colleague who was a fellow writer, she got an offer from somebody asking, "Can you request Shiju?" By that time, Motivational Strip has been born. So I was a silent, sober founder of Motivational Strip at that time. So this lady approached. She was an American publisher. She approached who was a part of the administration and said, "Can you request Shiju to try writing stories for children?" I used to write everywhere in social media. I used to write down in books. I used to write down in diaries, but I never used to publish anything as a professional book. And I was laughing the moment she told me, "Can you write stories for children?" I said, "I don't understand where the heck she got an idea that I can write stories for children. I'm more of a philosophical kind. I'm more of a serious kind. I write inspiring things for people to come up in life, to lead a better family life, to lead a better mutual respectful life, to bring world together so that, we all live in this earth as one family." And where did children's, they need stories which are quite digestible, very simple language, and where are the contents for that? I don't know. This American publisher is telling that if Shiju writes a story, it's going to be a great story. I laughed and said, "Please spare me." I just requested, "Please spare me. I am not the right person to write stories." Because that time I had started off poetries and all that stuff. And then, whenever somebody gives an idea about your behavior, even though you just ignore it, later when you are kind of not engaged with anything, when you are in your own private mood, that thing might strike back for me subconsciously. I was thinking, late night, I couldn't sleep that night. It was very late. I kept on thinking, what made her feel that I can write stories for children? That question kept on bouncing on my head. And Elizabeth, to be very honest, I had no idea what I'm going to write about. I took the pen and tried writing the first story. I wanted it to be quite different. So I thought, let me try to get into the countries I've traveled, or to some villages I've seen, some forest I've walked through, some desert safari I've taken, all things were running in my mind. And then when I started writing, the characters started coming to me. I didn't have to go to the characters. And that is how my first book, Katashi Tales, came into advent.
Wow.
And should I showcase the book along with this, or should I do it at a later stage?
Yes, we'd love to know see the cover.
This was the beautiful book. Wow. So you can see on the corner, international bestseller.
Yes, I do see that.
You don't have to gift wrap it. It's already colorful. So if you want to give somebody, it's already colorful. It's already a colorful book.
It's going to be attractive.
It has 296 pages. It's quite thick.
Wow, that's huge.
So a person who said that, why don't Shiju try writing stories? And you know how many days it took for me to write the stories?
Yeah. Let me take a guess. So let's say it took you 27 days.
How many days?
27 days.
I wrote 15 stories in this. And these 15 stories were written in 15 days. And editing was done on the same night, and it was edited by Brenda Muhammad. I still respect her because she is one of a great writer. And Brenda Muhammad edited this book. I used to write the story. I used to shoot it to Brenda Muhammad, and she edits it. And then proofreading was done by Sarah in UK. So it travels two ways. It starts from Oman. The story goes from Oman all the way to Trinidad. And from Trinidad, it goes to UK, and then it comes back after proofreading to me. So that way, 15 stories were done. And then roughly around 10 to 15 days, the book, in an overall book, we have to format and all that stuff was done. And in 30th day, book was released. And it was an instant bestseller.
What's your taste in literature? What type of books or authors do you read?
Actually speaking, every kind of literary material is important for me. I read biographies, I read autobiographies, I read novels, I read comics, I watch cartoons. So everything is okay for me, as long as it gives me amusement. There are some people who are very stern on the technical side of it. But for me, literature is a mean to give a reader a moment to be out from their current status and move on to a world which gives them either a moment to smile, either a moment to cry, or a moment to be shocked. So every genre, whether it be a thriller, whether it be a romance, whether it be a knowledgeable, whether it be non-fiction, whether it be poetry, whether it be lyrics, anything that is meaningful, which can add an additional block to my current mode of thinking is important. So as a writer, because as a reader, I have all these perception. So as a writer, I have always tried to become versatile. I never used to write poetry. I never started off writing poetry. I started off first, joining the alphabets, forming the words, forming the sentences, forming the quotes, creating paragraphs, then creating articles, and from articles creating a whole, a whole big, massive, you can say an excerpt of a particular mode of behavior of human beings. Then I started becoming philosophical. I started mingling with elderly people. I started gaining a lot of abundant knowledge in what they gained over decades. I started gaining in, within years. And all those things started making, the entire thing look like a fruit salad. Why is fruit salad so tasty? Because you get a little bit of taste of everything in that. That is how, otherwise, we could have just eaten apple, just an orange or grapes. But people wanted everything together. So they created fruit salad. So when it comes to writing, I feel I have written about almost every subject. I have written a new concept called story poems. In fact, Katashi Tales, the blueprint used to be poems. If you ask me Katashi Tales, the blueprint of those stories used to be poems. I used to write short poems, and from that poems, I used to expand it to a story. So where does the poems come from? Because the poems will give me the outline. How do you learn drawing? There are dots, and then you start connecting the dots, and then you start painting it, and then give you varied colors and all that together. So every story is what is formed was the base was through poem. That is how I got into poetry. Then I started learning the art of rhyming. And today, if you ask me without me preparing, anything what I write will get rhymed. Because I've written thousands of rhyming poems.
Wow.
It's a nice day, but every day is not a Sunday. Let's go out. It's great every day. So everything comes as a pattern. It's like a song ting tang ting tang ting tang. It goes like that. So the only thing what makes me different from others is that I write on every subject, but rhyming will be my form. The reason why I use rhyming is I don't want people to feel monotonous. They should have some kind of amusement, to read something further and further. So as they move ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, they will, start getting a rhythm, and then they will complete the poem. So that is what made me specialize in rhyming poems.
Having said all this, I was wondering when you are not writing or reading these books and having a taste of every little literary piece, what do you do?
I recently started watching Nigerian movies.
Wow.
I mean it. I mean it. I started watching Nigerian movies through Netflix. And, I was always thinking that Nigerian movies might be not so matured enough with the commercial movies. But then later I understood that they're very powerful movies. So if I'm not writing, I am either in front of the television, or otherwise I will be making some kind of graphics. So will you believe that the designing of this book, the concept was given by me? In my own graphics, I send it to the person, and from that, the precision was done by professional artists. But if you ask me this color, what should be the color of my spleen? What should be the how should be the bio? What should be the way the name is written? If you see a hanging wooden plank over here with my name written. So everything. So if I'm not writing, I'm into all this. I have designed so many book covers for our authors in motivational strips. But I always say, don't give me the courtesy. If you want to really mention, say that it is designed by motivational strips. But there is my hand behind that also. Then, if I'm not writing, what are the other things I do? I keep on talking with my friends. Lately, 3 or 4 years before, I tried singing because I'm always, giving speeches. So I tried singing. Then I understood when I saw the 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 response from the audience was huge. I felt, am I a singer also? So then I started going in that direction. So nothing is beyond a human reach. Anything which gives me happiness, and if that relayed back to the public gives them happiness, that is my
Wow, you,
my
you do so many things. You do so many things. You are so
You
talented.
have to. You
And
have to.
so that got me wondering, what do you professionally do with so many talents, writing, singing, designing? It got me thinking, and I would like to know what you professionally do.
Elizabeth, what is talent? According to what is talent?
I think talent is your inborn ability, your inborn potential
So how do you find it out?
by doing things that you enjoy, by engaging in activities that bring you joy. I think that's one way you can find your talent. Sorry.
Why did I tell you that even at a very young age you have learned so much? I doubt whether you are also roaming around people with above 60 years old. You speak beyond your age. May God bless you. So that is what is talent. Talent is not a hype. Talent is not for fame. Talent is knowing self. It is knowing self. How do you know self? Will you be able to understand your potentials sitting in a room all alone?
I wouldn't.
So, who helps you identify your talent?
Now, I think from the illustration you just gave, I think relating with other people will help you find your talent.
So who is the actual treasure? Is it you or the people around you?
That's a tricky question, but I think I'll say the people around because they are the ones
Yeah.
who find your talent.
You should live a life of gratitude. Everything what's around you. See, God has gifted, rather Almighty or the cosmic force. Everybody has their own terminology in addressing to the cosmic force. Has given you a tricky life. He has created all base for you to develop. But the development is not in your hand. The development is in identifying the people who can help you construct your complete face. And that is what is talent. Your talent, real talent, is to identify what can bring out the best in you as a human being. Who can tell you that you're a singer? Who can tell you that you're a writer? Who can tell you whether you're a good graphician? Who can tell you whether you're a great painter? It's all people. A mirror can be biased, it can lie. Whenever you look at a mirror, you will feel that you're the most beautiful guy or the most handsome guy or the most beautiful girl. But when somebody else tells you that, that is when it becomes a testimonial, called testimonial. And that accumulation of testimonial throughout your lifetime is what you are into, actual path of your talents. But trust me, even death will not tell you your complete talent. Because every human being is talented. But how you identify that is what gives you the score when you live this life, if there is an afterlife. So, according to me, I feel that you have to have people around you. You should learn to respect people. You should be learn to be humble. The more you're humble, the more people will like you to teach you more. And you will not get all information, everything from one person. It has to be the general mass. Why do you think great leaders, they keep watching television, they keep reading newspapers, they keep reading novels, they keep reading books, because they want to accumulate maximum from the world around them, so that when they speak something, it is measured and important and relayed back into the world in the content what they want. So that is what is all about, talents.
Okay, all right. So can before I ask you the next question, I would like to know what you do professionally, your career.
Okay, I started off my life working for ANC Greenlace Bank
Okay.
at a very young age. Even before my I don't know whether you know, Australian New Zealand Bank was there. I used to work for their credit card division, and after that, my father expired when I was doing my post graduation. He died at the when I was in my first year of masters. My first masters was in literature. So during that time, I had to handle our family business for quite some time. I'm just giving you the leak how to what I'm doing today. And then after I completed my management, I did an MBA. Additionally, apart from literature I didn't complete, because before that I passed the entrance test to get into MBA. So I completed my MBA, and I was also the, not to boast, but just to inspire, I was also the best student in the university for MBA. So my first job was with Smithline Beecham. Currently, the company is known as GlaxoSmithKline. You know the products like Horlicks, Aquafresh, Boost. Boost is the secret of my energy. Horlicks, Horlicks, what you drink, mixing with milk. These all products come from Aquafresh. And then later I entered into the automobile field, and I started working first with Toyota, then later with Audi. Then I was heading retail sales for BMW, and 6 months I had a short tenure handling Rolls Royce. And then I took over as the corporate head for Renault. And today I am a head of sales and marketing for fleet management solution devices and ancillaries. So currently I'm in Oman, and always I've been in Oman. so the only time I was out of Oman was during my graduation and post graduation.
Wow,
Uh,
you've done a lot. You've done so much, and from your biography,
uh,
and I've known you.
that is to make my financial security quite strong and stable, because that is important. Until and unless I don't know where to get my food, other things won't work in my mind.
All right,
So
all
food
right.
comes first.
If you weren't Asian, which continent would you have loved to originate from? I know you've traveled. You said you've traveled to 57 countries. So, which continent or country would you have loved to originate from?
I still love Oman, because I started off walking. I started, when we are a kid, when we are born, we start crawling. Then we start standing on 2 feet. And
Yes.
then still we slowly start walking, we fall, we still get up and we still walk, and then we start running. All this happened in this country. So I would still love to keep this country as my base, and my origin India as my passport. And from here, I would like to see all the countries across the world. Every country is beautiful. Trust me, without seeing Nigeria, I can say there is good side in Nigeria, bad side in Nigeria. If you go to Switzerland, there is good side in Switzerland, there is bad side in Switzerland.
Yeah.
But why do you have to look at the bad side? Look at the good side. So every country is beautiful. Every human being is a magical artwork of the cosmos. So
That's,
if I'm not in this continent,
yes.
I would still love to come back to this place. But if you ask me which all continents I would like to be, today I would like to be in this continent. Day after tomorrow, I would like to be in this continent. The third day, I would like to be in that continent. So I have always loved people, and I've always loved traveling. And I feel, there are places like Paris in France where I didn't know French. I have still survived over there. If you ask me how, I never knew a bit of French, but still people used to help me. You know how? I used to use my phone. I used
Oh,
to, if I want to travel to Eiffel Tower, I used to show the photograph of Eiffel Tower. Then they will see, oh, look, this go this way. They used to show with action, and train number two. So then I used to go to the railway station and I'll ask train two to Paris. So the best communication of human beings to one another is communication of love, affection, and mutual respect. And that makes me love all the continents. I can't be biased. I will never be. You kill me, you can ask my board from the grave. It's still that Shiju loves all countries.
that is a special answer. I love it. All right. It has been a great time with Shiju H. Pallithazheth. We will go on a break now and we'll be back in a bit for more interesting questions and answers with our guest author. Please stay tuned.
Sure.
Do you know that Ladder to the Top is an interesting and affordable book? In this festive season, you and your friends can hang out with your copies of Ladder to the Top and share the rich lessons that the book has to offer. Ladder to the Top was written for young adults, but the story is one that will touch the life of every adult with the important themes written in the book, beginning from friendship to compassion, love, and family ties. Within the pages of this book, you can tour the world, have a feel of many cultures, learn historical and world facts. Ladder to the Top by Elizabeth O. Ogunmodede is a professionally published book by Prolific Pulse Press LLC, and it's available on Amazon. Go get your copy today. Welcome back. It's still your host, Elizabeth O. Ogunmodede. And I have
Okay.
a question for our guest author. Mr. Shiju, can you please take a few minutes to give the audience a brief overview of your lifestyle as a poet? Would you like to give us
As a poet,
a lifestyle, your house specifically?
you will find my house is another source of poetry. I have a beautiful princess over here next to me. So she is my princess.
Wow.
So, she is a very adorable princess. So, if you ask me, I daily fall in love with this princess. Elizabeth, speaking about a glimpse of my house, like it is like this. I have the entire collection of Britannica over here, and these are all teeny weeny souvenirs which you see is brought from different parts of the world. Like this is from Nepal, this is from Spain, this is from Morocco, and then we have a teeny weeny this thing from Taiwan, and then we have this bell from Italy. So, these are all my treasures in life. So I have a whole lot of collection collected from different parts of the world. So this is what makes my house more of a poetry, rather more of a poem. So the poem is coming from where, if you ask me, these are all my inspiration. And I have this artistic work over here, and these are all different souvenirs given by well-wishers when I was traveling. Of course, it's come from the literary world, and I have a huge collection of souvenirs, crystal wares. So this all will give you a brief idea of how I like to keep my house creative. And those three frames, what you see, if you see on the center, it is Katashi Tales. Then on the left hand side, you will find the Ghost Wisdom. Then the third book, the Mind Twister. So these are the covers. So those are my pictures at home. And you'll see a huge clock which resembles, the pocket clock watches which used to be there in the past. And then I have these silver leaves with the mirrors. So it's kind of. Then I have a beautiful painting over here which goes well with the flowers. So I'm just giving you a virtual tour. So these are all, kinds of paintings and photographs held in my this thing. This is a crystal ware from Swarovski. It's embedded with a lot of crystals from Swarovski. Then you have a whole fish swimming over here on my wall, and then you have
a sun ray, which, in the morning when I see this, I get inspired. And this, when it comes to my bedroom, one of the places which I rarely visit because I have less of sleep and I have more work to do. So this is my bedroom, and this is my workstation. So you have a book over here called Solve Your Problems the Birbal Way, and these are some of my accolades. I have so many accolades, but all are kept. I don't know where all I have to search for them. So that's all about my house.
I have a would you rather question for you. Would you rather own a charity organization or a talent scout organization that is set out to help talented individuals become the stars they ought to be? Which would you rather own?
Do you feel that I have to start another charitable organization? Motivational Strips itself is a charitable organization because we don't charge money, we don't pay money, we don't take money. Everything is free. The world's richest knowledge, which has hundreds of thousands of literary work to inspire people. We conduct contests. We do not take any penny from anybody. We get sponsors from corporate. We bring people from different parts of the world together to assemble. We have millions of poems as rich knowledge. We do not take a penny and we don't want to give a penny. We recently conducted a contest called Be a Star Contest. Two poets under the expenses of Motivational Strip and its sponsors were flown from their country, but coincidentally, both of them this time was from India. So from Calcutta, flight tickets to their stay, to their sightseeing, to their expenses here, and they were awarded hell lot of gifts, from different sponsors, and they had a problem with their luggage because they had excess luggage when they went back. We had asked them to come with empty luggage because we wanted to fill them with luggage when they go back. So this was all done without making them spend a penny.
That is beautiful.
So this was done selflessly. So what more a charitable organization should I take care when I have motivational?
Well, I don't think you need kinds of because motivation
and we support any noble cause which can empower writers. There are many organizations working along with motivational strips. There are governments working along with motivational strips. Governments trust us. We had association with the government of Seychelles, Mauritius, Congo, India, Kazakhstan, Brazil, even the Academy of Letters, Brazil is associate of motivational strips. We have Devan Bahasa Dan Pustaka, the highest authority of literary institution in Malaysia. They work along with us for the global approach. So we are kind of a center point for all organizations to empower on, writers on a global front. And I don't think any charitable organization would be able to do even half of what we are doing. So that speaks volumes.
It does. I love everything that you're doing to promote every member of Motivational Strips, and more so, we are promoting each other. That's the important part of it all. We are promoting.
That is the pearl in the shell. What you said, that we are promoting one another. That is the pearl. Now you identified the pearl in the forum.
Okay, would you like to read an excerpt from your favorite poetry book by any contemporary author of your choice?
You want me to read from Katashi Tales?
Okay.
Katashi Tales is full of stories. No, Katashi Tales is full of stories. It's basically a book of folk tales. After a very long time, maybe hundreds and hundreds of years later, somebody dared to write a book on folk tales. And I wanted to take the challenge. So I wrote all on folk tales and fables. So I'll read one of the poems from Katashi Tales because I just want to get nostalgic for a moment.
Okay.
Because it's a long time since I read.
That would be beautiful.
So the first story in Katashi Tale is called the John the Baker. John the Baker. That's the first story. Now the story came from this small poem I had written as outline. So I'll read that poem. John the Baker. John was a man so grim, who lived in a house with light so dim. He was a baker who liked to chatter, serving all his cakes on a platter. A man who was full of sugar, making sure all his cakes were sugared. He came home early one day with a shirt so wet, not due to rain, but all his sweat. By error, he baked cakes not with sugar, but full of salt, and put his reputation forever on halt. He heard the customers all yell, making him return home, the shop being his hell. John, the man so grim, never baked a cake thereafter, and this story ended hereafter.
I love
This
the
is
poem.
this is only the poem, but the story is more than around 15 to 18 pages. The
With that,
same story, the same poem is a big story. So this is the poetry part of it. Because you asked me to read a poem, I just read one of my favorite. I mean,
okay.
all my poems are my favorite.
So,
It clearly says a collectible treasure for all ages.
okay. For all ages. That's brilliant. I enjoyed it. I'm a teenager and I enjoyed it. And every child, teenager, young adult, and adults will enjoy it, I believe. Dear viewer, I'm about to read a very beautiful poem by our guest author. Enjoy. It's titled Let's Be Clear. During every new year, the commencing part may look unclear, whether it be this year or the next year. Now you all better hear. Every year added to your life is a blessing, dear. The fact that you are alive to see one more year is what makes you feel that the cosmos are around and so near. Wishes may have come to you in bits and bytes through the air, and even the enemies would have wished you today. That's because it's a new year. And all are happy to wish relatives, friends, or any peer. Tomorrow is uncertain, and we don't know who among them will disappear. But then be happy for what you've got and not see this year as one more to bear. New Year wish to you all this time is different, dear. Live this whole year as a good human without attempting campaigns on others to smear. Generous with your smiles wherever you appear. Don't try asking too many questions. To others, till they fear. Every human around you similarly wishing it to be a great year. Thus, respect that. Keep everyone who has been kind to you near. Avoid hearing bad about your known ones through your tiny ear, as long as it hasn't affected your life to peer. Good or bad in life, we all are dear. Moderation of both is what makes us more clear. Enjoy this year with the best to hear. Wow, that's
Happy New Year.
everybody. That's a lovely poem. Mr. Shiju, would you please share your social media handles for viewers who would love to follow you on social media?
Do you want them to follow me, or I prefer to follow them? Because I am more I have the earnest thirst to learn more from them rather than they learn from me. Because whatever I write today, it's from the observations around, and then I relay back, putting them on more on a disciplinary front, taking out the relevance from the non-relevant, and then it goes in the media of stories, it goes in the media of poetry, or as an article, or as an excerpt, or as an essay. So I preferably like to follow all of you.
Well,
But
I
if
think
there are some people,
when they follow you, then you get them back.
so if you want to uh, take a student along with you, then I have my social media account in Instagram, Shiju Pallithazheth. I have it in Facebook, Shiju Pallithazheth. And the best place for you to interact and understand me more is Motivational Strips. So that's the social media hold I don't. I'm not in Twitter. I don't know why. I'm there in Twitter, but I've never opened it after I opened an account in Twitter. And I am not into the fame game. I am more into the learning game. So I have my own well wishers, and their testimonials are very important for me, and that is what makes me more, more equipped and more knowledgeable. So even whatever I am today, I owe it to even you, Elizabeth, and many others. And
Thank you.
let's keep learning from one another. And I'm sure that you would also learned a lot in today's talk show. So it's more of give and take, and let us all strive to be united and work together to empower literature. The more we are united, the more qualitative we become. We can become nothing by trying to be something all alone, but you can be something by bringing everything around. So that's what is more important.
Okay.
So let us learn to be humble. Let us learn to be simple, so that we keep on learning ample. And of course, you have a beautiful smile with a dimple.
Thank you.
So
Thank
that
you
makes
so
you
much.
more able.
Thank you
So
so much,
anything more?
sir.
Anything more you want me to add up? I have a second book which is called Ghost Wisdom, just for information.
Say
Okay,
something.
before I end the show,
That's the ghost wisdom. Well, I think
this
he.
was also bestseller. This was the 2020 Reader's Choice Award winner, Gold again. 2019 was taken by Katashi Tale for young adult fiction. 2020 non-fiction gold medal was won by Ghost Wisdom, competing with thousands and thousands of books from all across the world published
Yeah.
that year.
Mr. Shiju,
Yeah. Now coming to a question, what did you say? Can
would you
you
like to
repeat?
say something to your fan base before we go?
I really don't see them as my fan base. I see them as my family, because they are the air conditioners that makes my life so cool.
Yes.
So I would like to say thank you for everything that they've given me, and I keep on requesting them to make me more knowledgeable. Feel free to talk to me on anything on a productive front. And my biggest advice as a student, understanding from all of you, is never underestimate the talent of a pen. The more you use it, the more wiser your mind is. So it's like physical exercise can shapen your physique, but mental exercise can sharpen your brains and give it a better shape and better purpose in life. So that's what I would like to say and end this. And Elizabeth, I would ask you to keep doing the great work you're doing. I'm sure that if today I've spoken so much, there are many, many wise writers across the world. So one of your moral responsibility to is to identify people who could help many people learn more. And I will definitely keep watching the shows that are coming across from your end. And Motivational Strip is an ocean of knowledge. I request all of you to be a part of it, but don't expect anything on a shortcut over there. The more you give, the more people give you back. So learn to interact, post, and at the same time encourage one another. That is what actually makes you a well protective resident of Motivational Strips, or rather a family member of Motivational Strips.
Thank you, sir. It has been a brilliant time with you. I'm so honored that you got to come on the show and that you accepted my invite, most importantly. This brings us to the end of today's episode of Author's Lifestyle and Book Talk Show. It has been an amazing time and great moments with the great Mr. Shiju H. Pallithazheth. To the viewers, I say thank you for staying tuned to this show. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel called Express Your Love for Literature. Watch our videos, like, and comment. I am Elizabeth or Ogunmodede, a teen author, a graphic designer, a poet, an author, a publisher, a UI UX developer, and your host on this show. Stay blessed, stay safe always.
Thank you so much. Love you all. Bye.
Coming on the show, sir.